Okay, so now that you've done exercise one, a couple more tips that I might have mentioned before, or maybe I forgot. There's a lot to learning how to read music and just developing some good fundamental skills. So number one, do not go back to fix a note, because you can't. You just can't. If you make a mistake, keep going. I mean, imagine if there's a toddler, like a little 2-year-old, and a 2-year-old sees a cookie across the room. And toddlers, when they're learning to walk, they fall down all the time. But a toddler is not going to go and run halfway across the room, fall down in the quest for the cookie, get up, and then return to their starting point to go get the cookie. They're going to keep going. So you want to go get that cookie, and you want to just keep going. So if you miss a note, don't sweat it. It's part of just learning how to read and staying with the time. You're going to be playing with other people if you're playing in a pit orchestra, or it's just good musical etiquette to just keep going if you miss a note. Nobody cares that you miss a note. Well, they might care, but the greater good is to play through to the end. So don't stop. Just keep moving. Don't worry about it. You'll have another chance to go through it, and maybe you can perfect that. But just keep focused on where you're headed. Okay, keep counting out loud. That is supremely important. As you get to play with other people, that counting will be instilled, if you develop the counting skills now while you're practicing. All right. So moving on from exercise 1 to exercise 2. This is where Mr. Leavitt gets a little steep in the learning curve. Okay, he's going to take these notes that you've learned in this C major scale, and he's going to start building chords. He doesn't tell you the name of the chords just yet. We don't get into the music theory just yet. What you're going to start doing is just reading multiple notes, not just horizontally across the page, but also vertically. So you really have to know your notes so that you can look at these and know exactly what you're doing. So exercise 2, do yourself a favor and read through the notes before you start. It might go something like this: C, E, G, C, E, G. Okay? If you're doing the chord, you see a 3-note chord or any multiple notes that are stacked up at the same time or on top of one another, read them from the bottom up. That's kind of how we're here. And it's just how I do it. I mean, you could do it from the top down. It's not like it's illegal or anything, but that's generally how we hear it, and it's just how I do it. So go through the entire thing and just become familiar with it. A lot of times what I'll suggest to students is that they sort of shadow with their left-hand fingers where the notes are going to be played. So you might go, okay, this is C, E, G, C, E, G. Because in the book you'll see that he has this asterisk and a bracket to hold the notes down. He's built this exercise to include notes on adjacent strings, and you're just going to hold those fingers down and it'll make the chord. So you hit the 3 notes as you assemble the chord, and then strum the chord at the end. What you might think about doing, because you're in the middle of the strings, you might think about swooping out a little bit with your right hand, and just doing kind of one of those, just like that. Okay, so let's get to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go on to exercise 3. Before we do, take a look at those notes. I'll wait. Excellent. So now here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Exercise 4 is a little bit different. Instead of just playing chords, Mr. Leavitt has worked in a few of the scale passages where you're going to play a segment of the scale, and that highest note of that scale passage becomes the top note of the chord. It does that for the first 2 lines, and then on the other 2 lines coming back down, the last note of the note sequence becomes the lowest note of the chord. As before, just count it out loud, keep moving forward. You might want to tap your foot to feel the beat, and yeah, just keep moving forward. Shadow the notes to start with, but let's do it. I almost forgot to mention, in exercise 4, he gives the fingerings again, but you might see some fingerings that look a little unusual. You've learned to play F with the 3rd finger because it's on the 3rd fret. Okay, so this is the groundwork for chords to come. And for now, where you see that 4th measure there with the C, the F, and the A, and the fingering that's written to the side of it, the 3, 4, 2, follow that because that's important, and later on you'll see why. Okay, so let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you have it. Exercise 1, 2, 3, and 4 to play through. And really this is what I would give a student as an assignment. Just in 1 week's time. If you practice, say 20 minutes a day, once you familiarize yourself with the scale, it gets pretty easy. So we'll see you next week.